Hey Credit Warriors, Credit Shifu here, and today we are looking at ways to maximize credit card rewards. Now this will be more of an intermediate level video. We'll start off with some more basic ones, but we'll get into some more advanced tips as we go through the video, okay? So let's get started. First tip is to know which spending categories to focus on. So I was doing a little bit of research, reading some websites and blogs, and one thing that people do recommend in maximizing credit card rewards is to know your spending and to know which categories to focus on, okay? So one article on Money Under 30, they were saying focus on food and, don't pay much attention to gas, okay? And that's because a lot of people don't realize how much money they spend on food, okay? Restaurants and groceries, those are two food categories. And, wholesale clubs, if you have that category, that could also fit into there. And people don't realize that they don't actually spend as much money as they think on gas, okay? So let's just do a little bit of an example, all right? So if you drive 10,000 miles a year, which is about the average, and your car gets 25 miles to the gallon, okay? That's about the average for a sedan. And let's say the gas price is not 200, what am I talking about? $2.80 per gallon, which is what it is in this area of New York State, okay? You can do this for your state, it might be different. You would only actually spend $1,120 per year on gas, and even if you had a card that was getting you 5% cashback, that would only be $56 per year in cashback that you'd earn from your gas spending. So it's not as much as people think, but people actually spend a huge amount of money on food, on groceries and restaurants, because everyone has to eat. So those are good categories to focus on, but you can also go by this rule and examine your own spending and see where you are spending a lot of money, okay? If you're an Uber driver, all right, it would make sense to focus on gas, okay? Because, you're gonna be spending a lot of money on gas. I spoke to an Uber driver the other day. He spends $25 a day on gas, and he drives 6 days a week, so that's $150 per week. Per year, assuming he drives every week, that would be $7,800. So he'd actually earn $390 in cash back at 5%. So it would be worth it for him to get something like the Dux Unlimited card, which is 5% cash back on gas. But also don't forget, with gas, often it's cheaper to pay in cash anyway. So sometimes if you're paying with a credit card, you might actually be, it might not be worth it for you. But anyway, the moral to the story is just know your spending. If you have business spending, that's even better. You can put business spending on cards, but just find the categories that have the largest amount of spending, so examine your budget, and use cards that have bonuses in those categories. And if you have a category that doesn't really have that much spending, it might not be worth it to get a card specifically for that category. Second tip, get multiple sources of points and miles. Now, what I mean by this is, let's say you have an airline loyalty program. We'll use British Airways as the example. British Airways is a transfer partner of both Chase and American Express, okay? So I can have two sources of miles coming to that one loyalty program, and that's really useful because let's say I get a sign-up bonus or I earn a load of miles with Chase, I can transfer to BA. I then get a sign-up bonus with Amex or earn a load of miles with Amex, and I can transfer to BA, okay? So recently, I had the sign-up bonus or referral bonuses from the Gold card with Amex, and then I also got the Chase Ink Preferred, and that's an 80,000 point sign-up bonus. I can transfer that to BA too. So you can get multiple sources of miles all coming to the same place, which is really, really great because you can get to those goals like business class flight or whatever much faster than if, say, I was earning like Chase points, can transfer to BA, and then I had another car that was like Delta Sky Miles. Obviously, that's airline specific, can't transfer to BA. So, you then have like, say, 30, 40,000 miles in each account. You can't really get anything, So, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Multiple sources of miles that can transfer to the same loyalty program. Next tip number 3 is activate two-player mode. Okay, so really we're looking at couples with this because two-player mode, obviously it's for people who travel together and they can pool points together to kind of cut down on the amount of costs. So obviously with hotels, you only have to book one room for two people if you're a couple. With flights as well, you can often pool points, etc., to get award tickets and make it cheaper, okay? Because one person might not be able to afford enough points for, say, a business class ticket, but if two people pool their points, they might be able to get one business class ticket with points, and then you might have to pay with cash for the other one, but at least you got one for free, okay? So how we do this, basically two-player mode, well, I think everyone knows that Chase, you can transfer points between family members. For example, Mrs. Credit Shifu can earn points on her Chase Freedom, for example, and then she can transfer over to my Sapphire Reserve, and I can then transfer to BA, or I could book points through the portal. You've got other programs that you can actually have a family account, or you can pool points. For example, British Airways, when you log in, me and Mrs. Credit Shuffle's accounts are joined, so you get your account balance, and then you get a family account balance. You can see the family account balance is just a couple of hundred higher than my personal balance. That's because Mrs. Credit Shuffle doesn't have many points at the moment. She redeemed a lot of them, but you can see, obviously, if she had several thousand or 10,000, 20,000, it would be significantly higher, but you can just see how it works there. Then you've also got hotel rewards programs like Marriott. You can gift points to another member. So, if I wanted to make a booking, for example, and Mrs. Credit Shuffle had like half the amount of points that I needed, she can gift it to me, and then I can make that booking for both of us. You can also, with hotels, you could book like one night in one person's name and another night in another person's name. And then when you check in, you can just tell them, hey, we got 2 nights booked in different names. Normally they'll kind of join the booking up, so you don't have to change rooms or anything like that. So yeah, that's basically 2-player mode. And there are a lot of strategies for 2-player mode, okay? You could have one person focus on Chase, another focus on Amex. You could have, both getting, if there's one card that has a really great sign-up bonus, you could both get that card, so you then double that sign-up bonus, but you use it together, so you get double the value. There's all sorts of different ways to maximize when you're doing a 2-player mode, and I might actually do an individual video specifically focusing on 2-player mode. Next tip, double dip or even triple dip on purchases. So what we're talking about here is when you make a purchase, obviously you earn points or miles on a credit card, okay? But there are ways to double dip on that. For example, if you go through Ebates, you can earn cash back in addition to what you'd earn on your credit card if a store is featured on Ebates. All you have to do is go to their site, create an account, and then you see a list of stores, you click in and you go to that store and it'll give you a certain amount of extra cash back. You can also go through airline mileage malls, like British Airways has one, American Airlines has one, where you go onto their site and there's a portal and basically the names of websites, and you click through and you get extra cash back. There's also shopping through Chase. They have it as well. They have a list of sites and you can click through if there's the site that you want to buy stuff from, like you click through here, and you're going to get extra cash back on top of what you'd already earn from the card. So it's basically Chase is referring you, they're getting a little bonus, and they're sharing some of that with you. And there are even sometimes ways that you can find to triple dip as well, do a kind of double layer of websites. So maybe you sign your card up for something. Often Visa local offers can do this through Uber. So you could earn some Uber points, you earn something through Ebates, and you earn stuff on your credit card, you earn points on your credit card. That's just an example, okay? I have done this in the past. I could do a whole video on this as well. Anyway, moving on. Next tip, transfer points to a card with a higher value, or wait for bonuses when transferring to airlines and hotels. Now, I think the first part of this, transfer to cards with higher point values, most people know the classic example is Chase Trifecta. So if you have the Freedom, the points are worth 1 cent in travel through the travel portal. You transfer to the Sapphire Preferred, it's worth 1.25 cents. You transfer to the Reserve, it's worth 1.5 cents per point for travel, okay? So transfer to a card that has high point value. You can also wait for transfer bonuses as well. For example, American Express every year seems to do a transfer bonus to British Airways. At the moment, it's a 40% bonus. So, you might as well. I've been waiting all year and I recently transferred 60,000 points to BA and I got 84,000 points in my account. So that was great. And that's why my balance is so high in what you just saw. Amex also does bonuses often when transferring to Hilton. Okay, so last year there was a bonus, 1,000 Amex points for 3,000 Hilton points. It's normally just 2,000 Hilton points. That bonus, by the way, wasn't a time thing. It was that you got one chance. So you have to do it in one transfer and then it goes back down. So you want to transfer all of the points you need in that one transfer. Capital One also does bonuses from time to time when transferring an airline. So do look out for these things. Don't just randomly transfer points. The only reason you should transfer points is if you have already found a ward space on a certain airline and you're gonna book, you're 100% gonna book, then you could transfer points. Or if you know that you will probably book that airline in the future and you're getting like a 40% bonus, it's too good of an opportunity to wait, you might as well transfer now, okay? Next tip, get retention bonuses. Okay, so this is another way to maximize rewards. I'm sure you've all heard of welcome bonuses. When you sign up for a credit card, you get a certain bonus, but did you know you can actually get retention bonuses for keeping a credit card, okay? Let me explain. If you've had it for 1 year or 2 years and your annual fee is coming up, you can often phone up and say, hey, I'm thinking about closing the account. Is there any possible retention bonus you could give me? and they'll normally put you on hold and then come back and they might make you an offer. For example, I did this with the SPG card, okay, which is now the Amex Bonvoy card, the Amex Marriott Bonvoy card, but the old SPG credit card, I was thinking of closing it. I phoned up about a month before my annual fee was going to post and I said, you know, I'm thinking of closing it. Can you offer me something? And they offered me 7,000 SPG points, which is now worth 21,000 Marriott points for I think it was $500 or $1,000 worth of spending in 3 months. Okay, so normally the retention bonus has a condition similar to a welcome bonus, certain amount of spending in 3 months. Okay, and that's another great way of earning some extra points. I would advise not to abuse this one though. Don't like phone up for the retention bonus every single year. You know, you might want to spread it out so it looks like you're not abusing the system, okay? And our last tip is downgrade cards that are costing you money, okay? And this is an important tip because there's no point earning points and miles if you're spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars in annual fees and that's not offset by the amount of free travel or whatever, cashback or whatever that you're getting, okay? So I have, you're probably all aware, I have my credit card points and miles tier system, a credit card tier system from 1 to 5. 1 is the entry level cards, 4 is the premium cards, 5 is invitation only. Most people don't have those. So what I normally recommend is you have like one tier 1 card, which is like your starter credit card, probably the first one you got. And then you move up through the tiers and most people should only probably have one tier 4 card, okay, one premium card. And then where you're going to get a lot of value is really in the middle, tiers 2 and 3, okay, especially tier 3. Tier 3, the annual fees are only about $100, and normally they can be vastly offset by the amount of points that you earn. Tier 4, those are the cards that get you like priority pass, lounge access, certain statuses and stuff. And if you have more than one of these, often you get doubling up on perks, and it's not really worth it because you're paying about $500 in annual fees for each one, okay? So you need to make sure you're actually offsetting the annual fees. Now, for some people, it may be worth it to have more than one, but you know, if you don't do enough travel to offset those annual fees, for others, it won't be worth it. So do examine your annual fees regularly, see how much you're paying versus how much value in free travel you are getting or how much value in cashback you are getting. And those cards that are costing you more money than they're bringing in, you might as well downgrade them. Most of the major cards have downgrade paths. For example, Chase Sapphire cards can downgrade to Freedom cards. The Amex Charge cards, Platinum, Gold, etc. you could downgrade to Green. If you have like Everyday Preferred, you could probably downgrade just to the Everyday. There are many downgrade paths that you can take, okay? And so it's always worth inquiring, thinking, you know, all right, let's phone up. Maybe you want to try our retention offer first. If you do get that, it might be worth it to keep the card. If you don't, you might be like, well, you know what? I'm just going to downgrade the card then to a no annual fee one. So guys, that is my list of tips and tricks for maximizing points and rewards. Obviously, it's not an exhaustive list. There are still loads more tricks we can do. We might even do a part 2 to this. As always, leave your comments below. We'll also put a couple of our favorite credit cards in the description of this video that you guys can check out and learn more about. As always, it is an affiliate link, so if you want to see the advertiser disclosure, it's in the bottom of the description section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.